What's up everybody? Today we're going to talk about how you can make your Instagram hashtag game even stronger. And in order to do so, maybe we should just take a step back and think about what hashtags really are. So hashtags, in their pure essence, are just a keyword that help you raise your exposure by making your content that you upload onto Instagram even more searchable and able to be found by lots more users all over the world. So why that's beneficial is because the more your content gets seen, the more your audience grows, and if people like your content, I'm sure they'll stick around and give you a good follow, and that's what it's all about at the end of the day, right? So yeah, I guess the key of using the right hashtags is just to maximize your exposure as good as you possibly can, and let's talk about how you can go about doing that. So firstly, you should think about how many hashtags are perfect for your post. And the maximum hashtags that Instagram allows per post is actually 30. And how many should you be using on every single post? Yes, that's right, all 30 of them, every single one, because why wouldn't you? The aim of a game is to maximize your exposure, and there's no better way than to use up every single hashtag possible. Now you might think to yourself, well, that feels a bit spammy, you know? I'm writing this caption on my Instagram post and slapping 30 hashtags in there is just a little bit of a sight for sore eyes, so that's no good. But there are easy ways to overcome that actually. If you look at my hashtags on Instagram, I tend to put a lot of paragraph spaces, just a couple full stops, just to separate your caption from your hashtags a little bit further down the list. So that keeps your captions very neat, and that really helps as well, because the easiest caption to read actually is one that's free from hashtags. Just simple words. Get your message across, keep your message nice and crisp and clean and strong, and then let the hashtags be hidden a bit further down on the caption. Anyway, so when it comes to hashtags, and the best ones to choose to fill up these 30 hashtags, I've split them into 3 categories, and I'm going to talk you through each category on its own. So the first hashtag category I want to talk about is interesting content. So what do I mean by that? By this I mean hashtags that are actually searched for, because that's what it's all about at the end of the day. You want your hashtag to be searched on and for people to engage with your content. So if you use a hashtag like, say, hashtag London, which is so broad and used by millions of people, I mean there's literally millions and millions and millions of posts on hashtag London, and the content's not very good, let's face it. I mean there's people's holiday selfies on there, people's food, gym in the mirror selfies, and it's just boring. Nobody's going to search that and nobody wants to see that. So if you were to use a hashtag like hashtag London, your photo would quickly disappear amongst the millions of others and you would get no traction on your post. So what you should be asking yourself is, what hashtags have high quality content by people that really care about Instagram and care about the content they upload, and hashtags that are actually nice to search through and are inspiring where you can see other people's content. And hashtags that I find work best here are the ones between 100,000 and 1 million posts on them. Reason being is because they're not too niche that nobody searched them, but they're also not too broad that your posts just get lost amongst the millions of others. So a perfect example of this is hashtag fstoppers. Now that's a photographic community where a lot of professional photographers and a lot of enthusiast photographers upload their content to and very inspired and very enthusiastic about. So if you use that hashtag, for example, you might find a lot of like-minded people out there who also value high-quality content and are willing to drop by your page and give you a like and a follow. So that's definitely a good example. But you should go out there and find those hashtags for yourself, because I'm sure there are some that would really relate to the theme that you're after on your Instagram. Be it food, or fashion, or landscape, whatever it is, I'm sure there's a bunch of really high-quality hashtags that you could use. Now, moving on to the second category. And now this is what I'm about to say is extremely counterintuitive and hypocritical to what I just said in point 1. And the second category of hashtags are actually theme-defining hashtags. What does this mean? So I guess what this means is, believe it or not, there are various different ways in which hashtags can help your content be found. And it's not only but just by searching for the hashtag and clicking on it. Another way for your hashtag to gain your exposure to the right target audience is by actually using the explore page. So if you're using hashtags that are very similar to your target market and your target audience, then by default your posts are going to get snatched up by the explore page and put on their feed for them to find. So in my case, I'm a cityscape photographer who shoots landscapes in London. So the perfect hashtag for me is actually hashtag London, believe it or not. So despite having the millions of poor quality content on that hashtag, that's exactly where my target audience lies. And I'm 100% going to be using hashtag London in order for my content to be tailored to people who love London content on the explore page. Other examples of this are hashtag Tower Bridge, hashtag Big Ben, as well as hashtag London in various different various different languages, I should say. So yeah, bear that in mind as the second category of hashtag. Not necessarily ones you want to just click onto search, but ones that really define what your theme on your Instagram page is all about, and that helps you get searched on the explore page, which is probably in today's day and age where most of your traffic will come from. So those are almost your most important hashtags. And now, moving on to hashtag category number 3. Now these I use a little bit more sparingly, but they can be extremely important too. And I define this type of category of hashtags as event specific. What do I mean by event specific? So by that I mean, for example, maybe there's a photography competition that's running, or a chance for your photo to be featured somewhere or published somewhere, or maybe you could win a camera or a trip, or maybe there's a event happening in town. So for example, a few weeks ago in London there was the Pride celebration. So I used hashtags on that weekend like London Pride, hashtag London Pride 2018, ones that are very, very niche and very timely, specific to that weekend. So why these hashtags are good is because they might be trending and high volume for a very short period of time, so you can really capitalize on the trends that are happening on that specific point in time. Or maybe you stand the chance of winning a competition, right? That would also be amazing. So use these sparingly, because obviously there's millions of other entries potentially as well. So it's a very slim chance, but if you don't take chances, you don't win either. So definitely to have a good mix of those in your hashtags as well. Now, yeah, to sum it all up, those 3 hashtag categories are extremely important, and you should use a good blend of each. Now there's no perfect solution here or perfect balance, but you gotta play around with that and find the balance that works best for you. But I would recommend using a good blend of each of those 3 categories to create your perfect list of 30 hashtags that you use on your posts. Now lastly, there's one tag that's even more important than hashtags that I haven't even touched on, and that's location. Your location tag on your Instagram post is everything. That really helps you get searched and found a lot more than any hashtag ever would. So that again works in both ways I previously mentioned, either by tapping on the location itself, or by defining your theme. So for me, it's extremely important that I use the location London on all of my posts, because that at the end of the day defines my theme and makes me relevant to other people that are then going to go and find my content on the explore page. So I can't stress that enough. Use a well, in my case London specific, use a location that's specific to your content on every single post. That really helps you guys get found. Anyway, that's my 5 cents of wisdom that I wanted to share with you guys. I hope you found this information useful. If you did, or have any other hashtag guidance or other Instagram guidance you're willing to share with me, I'd love to read about it and hear all about it. Do let me know about that in the comments below, and I look forward to seeing all of that. Anyway, if you enjoyed watching this video and are interested in more Instagram specific guidance like this, or other photography related guidance and tips and tricks, as well as joining me behind the scenes as I photograph London and various other places all over the world, I'd recommend you hit that subscribe button below and join me on future adventures. Anyway guys, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in a future video. Bye for now. Hang on, there's one more thing I forgot to mention, and that is, I believe that a lot of you guys might also be London-based photographers and do swing by my Instagram page to see the examples of all the hashtags I typically tend to use. I'll give you a good example of everything I just talked about in terms of what you should look out for when creating your own list of hashtags. And that brings me to my last and final point. Another great way to be found on Instagram and raise your exposure is just by giving yourself a shout out on YouTube. So do head over to my Instagram page, take a look at my hashtags, see what they're all about, and if you actually like the content that I happen to post on my Instagram page, I'd be honoured if you'd give me a cheeky little follow in there as well. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Bye.